Hey friends, Rotoworld's Josh Norris and Patrick Daugherty here to take a look at the tight end position. No, not the top names, not your George Kittles, your Zach Ertz, your Travis Kelce's. Pat, this is a difficult challenge we have. We need to find some sleepers at this spot. And we know how thin and narrow and shallow the tight end position is, but I want to nominate second-year player with the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Goedert. Look, this is a difficult nomination here because it's kind of a tight end handcuff. But just talent-wise, I think that Dallas Goedert is one of the top 5, 6, 7 tight ends in the NFL. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles, end up running 12 personnel 40% of the time. I think that with Zach Ertz is going to regress and come back to earth. As we talked about, he has 44 more receptions or 44 more targets last year and 38 more receptions than he did in the previous career high. And I think no matter what, Dallas Goedert will take a next step in his development in 2019.
He will, and the argument for Dallas Goedert is all about talent. Because to me, this is one I haven't really been buying this offseason because even if he does everything right, even if he makes a lot of plays, there's just only so much more 12 personnel the Eagles can run. They already ran about 35, 36% last year. They got a lot deeper on offense this offseason, acquiring Deshaun Jackson, drafting J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, adding Miles Sanders, just a deeper overall offense.
Yeah.
And unless they're going to run 50 to 60% of 12 personnel, which they're not going to do, I just feel like he's going to have a hard time kind of going beyond tight end 2 matchup.
And he's being drafted as tight end 16 right now. And maybe I'm talking more for best ball, rosters you don't have to manage at all. But I think that, even if he has the pace that he plays 40, 50% of the snaps this year, he can end up as a tight end 10. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but being drafted as a tight end 16 plus baked in the fact that if Zach Ertz goes down for any games, you have a top 3 tight end with you every single week.
I think absent a Zach Ertz injury, tight end 16 is probably Dallas Goedert's ceiling, and I don't agree with you, Josh. I don't see him exceeding
Well, then who do you want to nominate, Pat?
Well, if I was responsible, I would say someone like Noah Fant, elite athlete in an offense with
around tight end 23 right now.
Yeah, that without a lot of proven weapons, should get a lot of targets, could have some quarterback problems there. But I'll go fully irresponsible. And this is really down ballot. This is
That's your middle name.
This is tight end 30 type. I'll say Darren Waller.
He's being drafted as tight end 15 right now.
That's too high, actually, but I do like him in the top 20. And just because we know how much the Raiders love high percentage targets. Jared Cook tied for the team lead in receptions last year. He's gone. He is an X-wide receiver. You kind of like that when you see that at the tight end position. We know he's really athletic. Steady drumbeat of offseason praise. Coaches have said all the right thing. The media has been hyping him. But a lot of new faces in Oakland, but there are also a lot of leftover targets. And Darren Waller could, if he could get cut for all we know. He could honestly get cut. That probably won't happen. But if his summer unfolds as expected, he could be a really great tight end too.
I actually need to correct myself. I confused Delaney Walker at 15
I was gonna say,
versus Darren Waller at tight end 28. I mean, he was so far down the list, Pat, that I didn't even bring it up. But there is no one else in that depth chart for him to compete with. So if tight end is going to be somewhat of a featured part of John Gruden's offense.
Which it was last year.
I think, the preseason is going to be super noteworthy to know Darren Waller's progression heading into this season.
Again, he could literally get cut.
He could. I realize with these names, Pat, that I'm talking about tight end handcuffs. And that's a losing strategy a little bit. But I do want to bring up that Hayden Hurst on the Baltimore Ravens is someone that, if we go 365 days ago to preseason games, was the most featured tight end on that Baltimore Ravens team. Now, that was with Joe Flacco, not Lamar Jackson. But just on paper, if you simplify it, the Ravens believe that Hayden Hurst is more talented than Mark Andrews. They were drafted in the same class, and Hayden Hurst went at least 2 rounds ahead of Mark Andrews. I know that then he broke his foot and missed a lot of time, and that's when Mark Andrews emerged. But I think if Hayden Hurst retakes that role early on, he can totally flip ADPs with Mark Andrews right now.
Yeah, to me, Hayden Hurst is kind of in a different life type of person where everything you described, there was a scenario where Mark Andrews didn't even come on the radar last year.
Yeah.
But he did, and it's because Hayden Hurst broke his foot, and we know it's a really tough injury to come back from. He is all the way back to 100% health. But to me, there's evidence that the Ravens now do consider Mark Andrews the better option. I think he will probably be the more heavily targeted option. Hayden Hurst was first-round pick, so obviously he can flip the script. But like you said, in another life, maybe Hayden Hurst is having that season you just described, but I think he got stuck with bad early career breaks. And
he's old.
Yeah, he's very old. He's 26.
That's older than you, Pat.
I was going to say with the stunt age. I was going to go with the stunt age, but he really is 26. And To me, yeah, I prefer Mark Andrews.
I think the best advice that people can take from this, Pat, is to leave with one of the top 8 tight ends in your drafts.
It's a really good year for that.
Thanks, Pat.
Good year for that.
Thanks all of you for tuning in as well. And for more rankings, projection strategy, and advice on how to dominate your drafts, check out the all-new Rotoworld NFL Draft Guide. It's now mobile optimized, so it's never been easier to take our award-winning advice with you to your drafts for that extra competitive edge. Just go to rotoworld.com/NFL Draft Guide for more.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.